Mothers all want their sons to grow up to be president, but they don't want them to become politicians in the process. John F. Kennedy. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 things the President of the United States can actually do. 25. The President has the authority to convene Congress during a break during extreme circumstances. He also has the power to adjourn them if he deems it necessary, as outlined in Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution. 24. The U.S. President can grant pardons or reprieves for those convicted of federal crimes as outlined in the Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, except in the case of impeachment, so the President cannot pardon him or herself if convicted of a crime while in office. To date, Barack Obama has issued 348 pardons, more than any other president. 23. The president is the official party leader of his or her political party while they are in office, as the party leader is simply the most powerful person within that party. They take the lead in representing their party to the nation, addressing their party, and steering party policy. 22. The president has the power to veto a bill that has been passed by Congress. However, Congress can vote to override a presidential veto, though it's rarely been done. If the president threatens to veto a bill, it can often lead to changes in the legislation before it's passed. 21. The president has the power to appoint ambassadors, Supreme Court judges, though these must be approved by Congress, the Secretary of State, and other various federal officials without an election, but generally with approval from the Senate. 20. It's the job of the president to prepare the budget and submit the proposed budget to Congress for approval. 19. The president gives an annual State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress in January. In the 19th century, it used to be more of an administrative and budget type of report to Congress, but it has since become a chance to encourage the nation and remark on what we've overcome and where we're headed. 18. In times of crisis, the president may exercise emergency powers. While it's not exactly clear what these powers are, because they're implied in the Constitution but not clearly stated, there's been some argument over this in the past, such as when Lincoln tried to suspend habeas corpus in 1861. These powers give the president the right to temporarily declare martial law and employ troops within the U.S. to put down rebellion or lawlessness. They also allow the president to declare federal disaster areas so that aid can be sent and spend money without congressional approval. 17. The president seems to take a lot of vacations, though that's a perk of holding what is possibly the most powerful and stressful job in the world. In case you were curious, George W. Bush took far more vacation days than Obama, but Obama has played more rounds of golf. So both red and blue can get a wag of the finger if that kind of thing bothers you. In any case, remember that the president is never truly on vacation, because any national emergency or situation can pull him back to Washington or elsewhere if necessary. 16. The president, as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, can direct troops wherever he wishes, either to aid other countries in war or to aid countries who need aid in times of crisis. If the president chooses to send troops into hostile territory to fight on behalf of the U.S., he has 90 days to gain approval of that action from Congress. The president cannot formally declare war, only Congress can. So to clarify, the president can move troops and ask for permission later, but cannot actually declare war. 15. One of the perks of being president is that he has people do nearly everything for him. Look, it seems reasonable that the leader of the free world shouldn't have to make his own bed or remember to get mom a birthday card, but the president's staff goes far beyond that. The executive office of the president consists of the president's immediate staff and multi-levels of support staff, employing some 4,000 people, including a chief florist, specialized pastry chef, personal trainers, and a chief calligrapher, among others. Most staff is on call 24/7 should the president or first lady need a fresh scone and some letterhead. 14. Nuclear launch codes follow the president everywhere in a case known as the nuclear football. The football is never, for the entirety of his term, more than a few feet from the president. The codes are printed on a plastic card known as the biscuit. The president is the only person who can authorize the use of nuclear weapons. If the president is for some reason incapacitated, this duty falls to the vice president. Most presidents keep the biscuit rubber banded with credit cards in their wallet. The football also supposedly contains systems that allow the president to address the nation via emergency system within 10 minutes from anywhere. 13. The president can create or dismantle federal agencies through executive action. Through executive or department orders, presidents have created over half of all administrative federal agencies in the U.S., of which there are over 400 in total. These agencies propose and enforce regulations that affect a lot of day-to-day life for most Americans, such as the Department of Homeland Security claiming the ability to search any personal electronics within 100 miles of a U.S. border, no warrant needed. This is technically an unwarranted search and is considered by many to be illegal under the Fourth Amendment. However, it's allowed under the Department of Homeland Security created by George W. Bush in 2002. 12. The president throws better parties than you, or anyone, honestly. President Obama planned a music festival with South by Southwest called South by South Lawn on the South Lawn of the White House in October of 2013. The Obamas in particular know how to throw an awesome party, but there's also the Halloween party, and the White House Easter egg roll has been a tradition for over 130 years. While we don't know much about what goes on behind closed doors of the White House parties, we do know that some go long into the night, or even the next day. 11. In addition to an annual salary of $400,000, a huge staff, and a pretty nice house to live in, the president gets additional expense funds totaling over $1 million per year. After retiring, former presidents receive around $200,000 per year, an additional $100,000 for staff, because they'll still need a florist, duh, lifetime Secret Service protection, and additional travel expenses annually. The U.S. may not have a king, but the president can live like one from the moment he sets foot in office. 10. The first time a turkey presented to a U.S. president was pardoned was in 1863 by Abraham Lincoln. Starting in 1989 with George Bush, every turkey presented to the president has been pardoned, as in they won't be slaughtered and eaten for dinner at the White House on Thanksgiving. This is one of the longest-running unofficial traditions and duties of the president. 9. One of the president's most important duties is to faithfully execute the laws. This is explicitly stated in the Constitution, and the president must do so regardless of his own views on the matter, providing that the laws are constitutionally valid. This is in direct opposition to English kings, who had the ability to suspend laws they didn't care for. 8. The president can be tried for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors and removed from office upon conviction for those offenses. The process of trial is called impeachment, and should a president be convicted and removed from office, the vice president would be sworn in as president to serve the rest of the term. 7. Executive orders are legally binding orders given by the president to federal agencies. These are usually used to direct execution of the agency's duties. However, there are also proclamations that are usually ceremonial, or orders in relation to national security, which are known as national security directives. These orders do not require congressional approval, but are as enforceable as laws. 6. The president may be elected to 2 terms in his or her lifetime, meaning if they take over as president while serving as vice president, they may still run and be elected twice. They are also free to run for other offices after their terms as president is over. Theoretically, this includes vice president, as the Constitution doesn't explicitly say they may not, but in such a case, the Supreme Court would probably be called upon to interpret the Constitution. 5. Only a member of Congress can introduce legislation to be voted on, but it's the job of the president to recommend some important pieces of legislation to Congress, such as the annual budget and laws the president may have promised during his campaign. The president lays out his legislative agenda for the year during the State of the Union address and may call upon specific members of Congress to sponsor bills to that end. A recent example of this is the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. 4. The president is the primary person responsible for the U.S.'s relations with foreign nations. To this end, he appoints ambassadors and consuls as well as other public officials, and along with the Secretary of State, handles all official contacts with foreign governments, including peace treaties. He may also respond to foreign events, propose legislation, and negotiate agreements such as trade. 3. Executive privilege is the right of the president to refuse to disclose information to other branches of the government or to the public. This includes refusing to testify before a congressional committee, save when it's a criminal proceeding against the president. This is a large part of the reason why the Fast and Furious scandal wasn't investigated further or sooner. President Obama used these powers to shield the Justice Department from a congressional investigation. 2. The president can also call in special perks and favors for entertainment too. In 2016, President Barack Obama requested advanced episodes of Season 6 of Game of Thrones. He got them. As producer David Benioff said, when the Commander-in-Chief says, "I want to see advanced episodes," what are you going to do? 1. In times of trouble, it's up to the president to address the nation and grieve with us, as he is very much an American citizen as well as the leader of our nation. It's his job to realistically address the danger or loss our nation has experienced, as well as give us hope and direction for the future. Perhaps the best example of this in our nation's history is the famous Gettysburg Address delivered by Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. His words are the ones other nations see and judge us by in times of war, and words that give us hope to continue on. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.